Hey guys, you guys ready for a swap? Hey guys, it's Matt from Omerta Garage. I'm here with Mario, and today is our day one on this S14 build. We're putting an RB in it, and we're gonna show you step by step and show you how easy it is to do an RB swap and how inexpensive it is. People think that they're expensive, but they're not that expensive. All right guys, so for the budget build for this S14, what we picked was an Rb20. This thing rips, sounds good, and does pretty good fuel mileage, and it's really reliable. So my friend's gonna commute this about 2 hours every day back and forth to work. All right, so this engine came out of a GTSD Skyline, an R32. It had Hikis in it, so we're gonna have to pull that pump out. Basically today, we're gonna do some easy stuff. We're gonna start cleaning this engine up a lot because it looks like a total mess right now with the wiring, a lot of stuff that we're not gonna use on it. But today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a clutch, which if you want to do an SR, K, all that stuff is gonna relate to this. It's almost identical. They have the same trans. All right guys, just to show you the detailed breakdown on an Rb20 trans, it's almost identical to a KA trans. The only thing that's different is basically the striker arm inside here. So the shifter is slightly different. But other than that, it still has the neutral switch like a KA. Still has the same reverse. And it has the same inlet for a speed sensor or speed cable. It also has this breather hose here, same thing as a KA. So also the slave cylinder is the same thing as a 300ZX KA. So we'll probably replace that with the 300ZX a Z32 slave, just so it's brand new. All right, first thing we're gonna remove is gonna be this collar right here on the back of the transmission. The reason why is I believe the KA drive shaft won't go in with this in the way, so we'll just tap it out just like that. So next thing, what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen all the bell housing bolts, including the starter bolts. All right guys, so now the last thing to unbolt is the starter. So there's one bolt at the bottom. So there's gonna be one right there and then one at the top of the starter. And they're both 14 millimeters, so that's the last thing that's going to be holding the transmission. And then now you could pull the starter off. There it goes. So another thing to add to everything is get yourself Ziploc baggies and make sure you label all the bolts you take off, just so you don't have trouble later figuring out what goes where. Trust me, was it like $5 will save you $100 worth of headaches. All right, so now we're going to want to separate the trans. So no, we're not supporting the engine on that table. We're just holding it there just so it kind of like holds it there in place while we wiggle this out. We just found it easier that it's easier in this position. Yeah. Whoa. Hold on. Right there. So now the transmission's off. So yeah, it's easy as that. So now we are down to the clutch. So right here, this is called the pressure plate of the clutch, and it's held on by these 12 millimeter bolts. So we're gonna undo those right there, and after that, I'll release the clutch disc from this setup. So now he got the last bolt off, so the pressure plate is gonna come off with the disc. So you got to make sure you catch both of them, if not, something is gonna hit you in the foot. Alright guys, so now we're looking at the flywheel. We want to feel if there's any kind of scores or any chips or anything that just marks it up. Right now it just feels super smooth. There's no wear really on it. So what we're gonna do is I gave it a little scrub with some Scotch-Brite. Then now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna clean it off with some brake cleaner and just get all that gunk out of there. And then I'll just go and kind of just dry it up. You don't want no grease, no debris in here. That's when your clutch starts to slip, is when it's dirty, there's oil in it. So yeah, we're just gonna go and touch this up right there. So now it's oil free. All right, so now we got the new clutch here. My buddy decided to go with this brand. So here's the disc. As you can see, it's wrapped up so it stays clean. And let's see, it comes with an alignment tool, and it also comes right here with a pilot bearing and a throwout bearing, brand new. And then here's the last piece, which is brand new pressure plate. All right, first thing first is what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the old pilot bearing, which this is just this, was it brass piece right here? And that is located right in there. So the flywheel, you can see it's in there. So the easiest way to get it out is with this tool. So essentially what you do is you put these two in there and it kind of hooks around the bearing, and then you kind of, tying it, and you see how it's expanding, and then you kind of smack it out. There's gonna be 1,000 different ways to do that, but this is $20 and it'll save you so much headache. So just buy this for $20, trust me. Or go rent it out and go break O'Reilly's. So all you gotta do is just kind of give it a little, whoa! Just easy as that, man. Frickin' don't do the bread stuff, whatever, just buy this, 20 bucks. We're just gonna give it some grease so it kind of helps its way in a little bit. So basically what we're gonna do is grease it up a little bit. So we're just gonna put it back in there right there, and we're gonna use the old one. We're gonna use the old one here just to kind of smack it in a little bit. We don't want to damage it at all, so make sure that you don't damage this at all. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grease this alignment tool. Just put a little bit of grease on it, on the splines right there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our clutch disc. We're gonna put this bad boy on like that. Now for safety measures, we'll put some lube on this too. So right there, just a little bit in there. So now we're gonna stick this bad boy in, just like so. So now you can see the alignment tool. Basically the alignment tool is inside the pilot bearing and is holding the clutch in. All right, so most clutch manufacturers, they kind of coat this with some sort of grease, so we're going to clean that off with some brake cleaner. My apologies, I said 10mm bolts, but these are 12s. So now what we're going to do is just kind of do the star pattern. So now that we're snug on all our bolts, we're gonna go and torque it down to 30 foot-pounds. All right, so now we're gonna put the trans in. We did the throwout bearing, so we didn't go into detail with that, but first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna pull out this alignment tool right there. And then now basically you just put that input shaft of the transmission, and yeah, you just put it in there. Now the trans is back in now. So now basically you just reverse your rolls. So now all you got to do is you got to put all your bolts back in, and then you put your starter back in there, and then you just put the 14 mils back in there, and then you just tighten everything up. What's up, guys? It's day 2. So yesterday we didn't really get to work on it for very long. The reason why is I have to wake up early for work, but today's another day. So we got the smoker going, we got some pulled pork, got some of the boys over today. And right here with Mario again. So we did start to work on this a little bit today. So basically we got all the wiring off. So now what we're doing is spark plugs. And then we also started replacing some of these hoses back here. The reason why is once they get stuffed in a 240SX, it's going to be really hard to get them. So these lines back here for the turbo, they're really hard to get to, and usually they're cracked or something, so it's best to replace them now so they don't leak on you. So yeah, today we're just going to go over some of the maintenance stuff. First thing first, for spark plugs, you're going to want to take off this J-pipe right here. So you're going to want to take off the couplers, the vacuum hose, and then there's usually two 10mm bolts right here. So we're going to take all that stuff off now. So now we got that J-pipe off, so now we're going to take off this breather hose right here. And then we're going to take off the igniter chip and bracket. This is a weird bracket, but usually it comes with a coil pack cover, and there's going to be these Allens right there. So you're going to want to take that off so we could pull these coil pack brackets off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hit that bolt, the one right there in between all these on the coil pack brackets, and now when we do that, we could pull all the coil packs off at once. So now all the bolts are loose. So this coil pack bracket's actually two pieces. One holds 3 and the other one holds 3. So we could just pull up. As you can see, this one came out right there. So this one will be the front one. Oh, those are dirty. And then this one right here, just grab it and it pulls right out. Gunky, huh? So now we're just gonna clean this stuff up, and then I'm gonna show you a top secret RB tip. All right, so every single RB should do this if you're using this stock coil pack bracket. So what you want to do is you want to take off each individual coil pack. So now that you have all your coil pack brackets off, so I'm going to explain this, and hopefully you don't have this issue, but if you do, basically you'll be revving at a higher RPM range, like maybe like 5 to 7,000, and then you kind of hear your car lose power, but the sound it makes is kind of like a brrr, or like kind of like a little fart. We call them RB farts, and that's you just misfiring at higher RPM. So what actually happens is essentially when this bracket touches your block and this coil pack touches the block, it arcs its spark onto a ground, which would be this coil pack bracket. So what you could do, you got two options. You could either cover the whole entire bracket in electrical tape, or right here, this is called spray liquid tape. So it's electrical tape in a spray form. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray this whole entire bracket in this with this. So when you put your bracket on, if the spark decides to try to arc onto your bracket, it won't, because it'll be non-conducting because of this electrical tape. So that'll solve your misfire issue at a higher RPM range. And a lot of RB20s and a lot of 25s have this issue. So if you are running the stock ignition system, this is a must upgrade, and this costs about $6. So for a $6 upgrade, you won't misfire anymore. Alright guys, so now we got the coil pack bracket, in. So I like to put, there's actually indicators right here. It says up and then pointing forward for the arrow. So I like to put these on first, and then I'll pick up a coil pack and I'll slip it in. Alright guys, we're gonna take a break from this, and if you guys know me, which you guys don't know me very well, but I love food, and we've been smoking some pork shoulder, or we call it pork butt or whatever. So it's about that time to wrap this sucker up and stick it back in there. But yeah, look at that, man. It's been in here for 5 hours. So, alright guys, check that out. It's not done yet. We still gotta throw it in, but look how good that looks. I don't know if you guys like barbecue, but damn.